Good morning. Coming to you live in the gym in Summit Park, New Mexico. This is the 343 commitment and still counting 110th floor memorial stair climb for our brother, firefighter Michael Weinberg, off of engine number 1 out of Manhattan, the Midtown Express. Housed there with Say No More, ladder 24. We're taking our brother up 110 floors to the symbolic top of the towers. We have a total of 7 verticals to get us to the 101st floor. Once we pass the 101st, we have 9 floors left, and this 110 floors will be completed, giving an honor and respect for the sacrifices that were made so that others could live. This is the 3rd climb of this tour, and the last climb until our next tour. For our brother, who now will be the 334th climb of the initial 343 commitment prior to taking up the Ansel counting. So again, we have a total of 7 verticals to get us there to the very top. Starting off shortly with his story. So our brother, Michael Weinberg, from Engine 1, was 34 years old at the time of his response on 9/11. This climb is dedicated to his family, Morty, his father. I'm not really sure because the research didn't really give me a lot of information, but there's also a Mary that was listed, and his sister, Patricia Gambino, who was actually on the 72nd floor of the South Tower, where she worked for Morgan Stanley. And I'll get back to her in just a second. So our brother, Michael Weinberg, was actually on vacation from Maspeth, Queens area. Our brother was at Forest Park golf course waiting for his tee time when he found out that the attack had occurred. He threw his clubs back into his vehicle and went into Manhattan to his station. When he got to his station, he met up with Captain Brethel from Say No More, ladder 24, and Father Michael Judge. And they went into the World Trade Towers together. All 3 of them responded together in the same vehicle. The last place our brother was seen with Captain Berthel was attempting refuge under a engine or a truck company. It really didn't completely specify. So this climb is to give honor and respect for the response to the worst terrorist attack on U.S. soil, where upwards of 25,000 were saved because of the bravery, valor, and heroism that was shown on the rescue effort. So, as I was saying, Patricia Gambino, his sister, was on the 72nd floor of the South Tower. She had gotten out from the South Tower, and it said that she was standing on the Brooklyn Bridge when she received a phone call from her older brother, who the name was never specified. So this is dedicated again to the entire Weinberg family, that little did they know that their younger brother Michael had responded as part of his love for his sister and being worried for her and his duty to the FDNY and the citizens of New York. So this is dedicated to Patricia and again the Weinberg family, Morty and Mary, and anyone else that I was unable to get information on. So as I was saying, our brother was an avid golfer, and he was thinking about going into the senior tour later on. He was a lifeguard, a personal trainer, and our brother had also appeared in the FDNY calendar. He was on the Bravest baseball team, and our brother beforehand went to St. John's University. It said on a baseball scholarship. He had gotten on with the Detroit Tigers farm, I think it's AAA, and he was on a farm team for baseball, playing in both Niagara Falls and Fayetteville, North Carolina, on teams there that were farmed for the Detroit Tigers. This climb is to give honor and respect for the sacrifices made so that others can live. So our brother will not just become a name on a plaque or a picture on a wall. Firefighter Weinberg was on vacation when he responded out of his love for his sister, who was on the 72nd floor with Morgan Stanley, to his response with the FDNY. Now, the Midtown Express is Engine 1, located with Ladder 24, Say No More. In 2017, when we climbed World Trade Center 4, during the honor visit, we actually went and paid our respects at the Midtown Express. Now, there's two very interesting, unique features on the Midtown Express and Say No More. On the Midtown Express, there is a little metal sculpture figurine right in the middle of the top of the cab in the front of the Empire State Building with King Kong at the top of it. That is the Midtown Express, Engine 1. Next to it, on Ladder 24, on the very front, you have one of those giant, like longhorn, steel horn things like you put on your wall. And that's attached to the front of Ladder 24. So Say No More is the steer horns, and Midtown Express is the Empire State Building with King Kong sitting on top. And that's actually on the unit patch designations of that specific company. So, as I said before, our brother was 34 years of age at the time of his response on 9/11. So we're coming to you live in the gym in Southern Park, New Mexico for the 343 commitment, and still counting. 110 floors, taking our brother, Firefighter Weinberg, to the very top. Try to see if I can unfog the mask a little bit while we're going to the top. So now we're on the fourth to last vertical before we get to the 100 and the first floor. Only 9 floors after that, and our brother will be at the top. This story is being shared for anyone who's willing to listen and to learn. On this stair climber, in stairwells, in stadiums, in coliseums, and on the road in 5Ks and runs across the United States, to show the family that 19 years later, we have not forgotten. No matter how many years later, we will always remember their sacrifices, the families, the legacies, all left behind. From what I read, it said that our brother firefighter Weinberg actually has a street named after him in Queens. This 110 floors is for firefighter Michael Weinberg, who was up on vacation at Forest Park, Queens at the golf course, waiting on the tee time when he heard about the terrorist attack on 9/11. Our brother immediately went into action for his sister, Patricia Gambino, who was on the 72nd floor of the South Tower, to don his clubs back in his SUV and heading down to Manhattan. Once he got to his fire station, he joined with Captain Bethel and Father Michael Judge, and they all responded together to the trade centers. We will never forget the sacrifices that were made so that others would be able to live. This is why we climb. So our brothers did not just become a name on a plaque or a picture on a wall. Our brother was very athletic. He was a lifeguard, a personal trainer, and it said he graced the FDNY's calendar. He played on the FDNY baseball, the bravest, from what I read. And he was meant to help others. He will never be forgotten. The sacrifices that were made so that others could live will always be remembered and given honor and respect as we carry each and every one. Our brother being the 334th climb of the initial 343 commitment prior to taking up the ANSO counting. Those who worked the pile at ground zero for days, weeks, and months until almost 9 months later when the final beam was removed and placed in the 9/11 Memorial Museum. The recovery effort was declared complete. Those who succumbed to 9/11 cancers and illnesses, they too will rise and take their climbs one by one until, God willing, I can't do this anymore. Pushing each and every single brother to that very top, to the third to last vertical right now to get us up to the 101st floor for engine company number one, the Midtown Express. As I said, it's very unique with the Empire State Building and King Kong sitting on top. Housed there in Manhattan with Say No More Ladder 24. with the steer horns on the front of the cab. Our brothers will never be forgotten. For his family, Morty, Mary, his sister, Patricia Gambino, and whoever I was unable to get further information on the Weinberg family, your brother, your son, and our brother, Firefighter Michael Weinberg, will always be remembered, no matter how many years go by. A promise was made on 9/11 that we would always remember and we would never forget. And promise you this commitment is being kept. For anyone who wants to learn who our brothers were, his story is out there. This is why we climb. To keep their memories alive. For you, the families, for the FDNY, and for our country, so we can teach the next generation. There will not be cancel culture where in regards to 9/11. We will never let it be that way. We will always remember those sacrifices that were made so that others could have the opportunity to live. Taking our brother to the top. Our brother was on vacation, like so many others. He responded, third to last vertical on 9/11. He had his sister, Patricia Gambino, on the 72nd floor of the South Tower, which she was able to get out. And it said she was on the Brooklyn Bridge watching the first tower collapse, not knowing that her brother Michael had responded. Our brother responded from the golf course at Forest Park in Queens to Manhattan, met up with Captain Berthel off of ladder 24, Say No More, from the same house, and Father Michael Judge. Together, they went to the towers. The last place our brother had been seen, along with Captain Berthel, was attempting refuge underneath one of the apparatus. They will never, ever be forgotten. We got 2 more verticals to get us to the 101st floor. Down to 9 brothers after this climb. Almost 5 years now, we've been going vertical. For each and every one of their stories to be shared. And now, we're closer than ever to the completion of the initial mission. For each one, for their families, the FDNY, and our country. We climb. So now we're up to the second to last vertical, coming to you live in the gym in Sunland Park, New Mexico. This is the 343 commitment, and still counting. Third climb of the tour, 110 floors for Firefighter Michael Weinberg off of the Midtown Express, Engine 1. They're out of Manhattan, housed with ladder 24, Say No More. Again, in 2017, I had the honor of paying an honor visit to Midtown Express and Say No More. Those are not forgotten. Being able to talk to the brothers there and let them know that we still remember. We will never let 9/11 be forgotten. Right now it's for firefighter Michael Weinberg, an avid golfer, a lifeguard, a personal trainer, and a really good baseball player who played, I believe it was AAA, for the Detroit Tigers farm team in both Niagara Falls and Fayetteville, North Carolina. He instead would have gone pro, but he ended up getting injured while playing baseball. So in 1994, the year before I graduated high school, our brother started with the FDNY. He was on the bravest baseball team, from what I was able to research, and a great firefighter who knew his sense of duty when called upon. This is why we climb. We're on the second back half of that second to last vertical before we hit that 191st floor for our brother firefighter Michael Weinberg off of Engine 1 Midtown Express out of Manhattan, housed with ladder 24, say no more. We're carrying him up to the very top. Coming up on the little last rest area with slower climbing before we hit the final vertical to get us to the 101st. For this climb is dedicated to the Weinberg family. Morty, Mary, Patricia, and anyone else in the family that I was not able to find data on during the research period. Everything that is done on these 110 floor climbs is done by memory. Prior to getting on, gearing up, and starting the climb. So now we're on the last trek towards the 101st floor. For our brother firefighter Michael Weinberg, who was waiting on his tee time at Forest Park Golf Course in Queens when he responded to Manhattan, arrived with Captain Berthel on ladder 24 and Father Michael Judge. Our brother will never be forgotten. Their sacrifices will never be forgotten. Instead, they will always be remembered for the heroism and valor that took place. So upwards of 25,000 were saved. Our brothers never knew what was happening, but yet they still responded. And because of that, made the ultimate sacrifice so that others could live. 19 years later, we still remember their legacies, their families, their stories. They will never be forgotten. For anyone who wants to listen and learn, his story will carry on completion of this climb. It'll be added to the YouTube channel where all 334 brothers and their stories can be watched. So they are never forgotten, but instead an educational opportunity for the next generation and the following generations of the fire service. We're taking them up to the very top. And we're almost to the last part of this vertical. To the 101st floor. My brother, firefighter Michael Weinberg, at the 101st floor, climbing nine more floors to go until we reach the final floor. For our brother who was an avid golfer, an athlete, our brother had said, took food to the homeless. And I believe it was the St. Assisi Church. He worked as a volunteer in the New York burn unit. He will never be forgotten. His legacy will carry on. Our brother has a street that was named for him in Queens. Firefighter Michael Weinberg, our brother, and 342 other brothers within the initial response, and those that followed in the Anso County, those that worked the pile at ground zero for days, weeks, and months, succumbing to 9/11, illnesses and cancers, the sacrifices that were made in the recovery effort will never be forgotten. They will take their turn going vertical as soon as we finish these last 9 climbs and the initial 343 commitment. The Anso County will go vertical, one at a time, with honor and respect for their families, the FDNY, and our country to know we will never forget. A commitment was made that we are keeping. 334 brothers, just about to finish the last 2 floors on this memorial climb for firefighter Michael Weinberg. And we're almost to the top. To the 110th floor. We're at the top. Firefighter Weinberg, rest easy, sir. We'll take it from here. You will never be forgotten.